beautiful souls out there. I hope you're able to get out in nature like Starlight is, and look at this big ass tree behind me. This is so beautiful, and that is why Starlight set up right here, is where this tree is. And sorry about this background noise. It's a big yellow bus. What does it mean when you see a big yellow bus? So anyway, besides the big yellow bus is I really hope you're able to get out in nature and send some love out in the world, because we all need it. You know, that's what I do all the time. I surprise the heck out of people, women, men, it doesn't matter, you know. So that's what we need to do, surprise some people and send some love their way. And you know, it's only a small little thing that we can do that really makes a big change in the world, to the people that we're doing that to and helping them out, and ourselves. You know, when you put love out, you're going to get love in return. Those people are going to remember you, you know, and they're going to remember how you made them feel like sunshine, and you just never know. Sorry about this, the lighting. Whoopsie. You just never know what people are going through, and especially with the things that are going on in this world. So please send some love out there in the world, because we all need it. And also thank you for all of you who have been here loving and supporting Starlight. You know, there's a lot of you I met in person, so I had a pleasure meeting all of you if I met you in person. Some of you I actually spent a quality time with on this journey. Some of you I wanted to meet, but it wasn't in God's timing. So, but thank you to all of you who, you know who you are, who are loving and supporting Starlight. And also, if anyone would like to send any love donations, you can through my Cash App on my YouTube video, and I will send that information here. Ping! There it is. And before I start this video, hello, my name is Starlight. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and you can find me on YouTube, and that is at Starlight, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman. Plus, don't forget you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, plus give me a thumbs up, and you can also leave a message down below, beep beep beep, and you can share my videos with your family, your friends. Don't forget to ring the notification bell, and you can check out my playlist. Plus, you can find me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman Starlight. Now, today's video is like, are you happy where you are in life? You know, are you happy? And that's what's important. There's a lot of people, they're somewhere, and they're not even happy. They're miserable. You know, there's people that, you know what, you almost can see it when you wake up and you go to a gas station, and, you know, people, you know, you cross people all the time. They could be going through something, but, you know, like when you wake up in the morning, are you happy that you got the job that you are, you know, where you are working? You know, where do you work, you know? Or are you grudging, you know, the night? Because I know what it's like, you know, when you're miserable at the job and you don't like the job. It could be what's going on at, you know, with the company. You know, it could be so many different reasons why you're not happy at the job that you have. You know, it could be the staff, it could be the coworkers, it could be your boss, it could be what you're doing is not bringing that fulfillment. It could be the location, it could be all kinds of stuff, how much you make. You're like, I'm worth more than this, you know. And so the thing in this life is you need to be happy, and if you're not happy, then you're at the wrong job. Sorry to tell you, but you're at the wrong job. You don't have to take a job that you're going to be miserable, where you're grudging to go there. I know what it's like, because I used to work for a company. There was a lot going on, you know. I got picked out of 100 people. They had interviews with 100 people, and I was the one that got picked out of 100. There's times that we think, hey, yeah, this is going to be a great job. Look at that. I got picked out of 100 people. It was one of the worst companies that I ever worked for. It was a lesson for me, even though you got picked, you're like, wow, man. Because I'll tell you what, I have great work ethics. Virgos are hard-ass workers. And so I actually have to say thanks to my mom and dad, because we were put to work as children, you know, and but I give myself the credit for who I am today, not my parents. But so you got to be happy at where you are. You know, and what it is it's a mindset. It's all a mindset as far as, you know, like, you know, I'm not happy. And if there's sometimes that we can make things happen at a job, at a workplace, you know, depending on what's going on. But there's a lot of times we can't change anything going on at the workplace. Like if there's, you know, you got issues going on with the coworkers, you know, where it could be a lot of drama. I got a job on this mission here, on this journey here with God. And I didn't know what God was doing, you know, and it took me some time to realize that God didn't want me to go out. And you know what? If I wasn't going to do my own business, there's no freaking way that I would want to go back to a 9-to-5, and I would be miserable, because going from making $50 an hour, that was the most that I made having my own business, to go work for a company, I would never make that much money out there working for a company, because the way the whole system is, you know. So you got to be happy with where you work. And like I said, there's sometimes that you can go and make a difference at the workplace, but most of the time you can't. There might be a lot of drama and backbiting, and that's why the one place that I did get a cleaning job when I lived in New York, oh my goodness, you know, I had to ride with the manager or the supervisor, and I was like, man, that lady was running her mouth about everyone, and I was like, what is she saying about me behind my back, you know? And I'll tell you what, because I had my own cleaning business, and I went, you know, I had my own cleaning business going there, they were really gonna, you know, I couldn't do anything wrong, because I would get attacked because, oh, she had a cleaning business, you know. So but that did not work. I mean, I was out the door that quick, because I'm not gonna put up with the kind of stuff, backstabbing and gossiping and drama about everybody, you know. And everything was a flippin' mess in that place. So anyway, is that if you're miserable at the place, you gotta, it's all mental, you gotta believe that there's a job out there. And because I seen this yesterday, is, I'll tell you what, you gotta watch out. I seen a young guy yesterday, and I felt my heart went out to him, is that, you know, he was on the computer looking for a job. I didn't know that, but then a man that knew him sat right next to him. So this guy was being very rude, because it's at the library. This is, you know, it's not really the place to do that. It's great to have a library that's quiet, you know, but, you know, where people are comfortable, where it's not too quiet, because there's some places at libraries, like if your phone made any noise, they freak out, you know. So you want to be comfortable at a library, but to actually have a loud conversation, you know, while people are trying to do their stuff is really rude. And I felt bad for the kid, because he's young, and a guy went in there and he started talking really loud and trying to guide him and tell him what kind of job, you know. And I felt bad, because he was being distracted, you know. And I think the only reason why the kid decided to get away from the computer, because he wasn't getting shit done, because this man was interrupting everything that he was working for, and the man was trying to, you know. And I did talk to that man outside the library, and I kind of believe he did say he was intoxicated, and I believe he only went in the library because I made him feel good outside, and I think he wanted to just impress me by, you know, bragging about all these things about him, and he, you know, being intoxicated. So, you know, I just felt bad for this young kid, because there goes his job search. And this guy that came in, he was trying to get him to work at a bar, you know, here, do this kind of job, you know. And the kid didn't really have a voice, you know, to say no, you know. Hey, thanks for the help, but I'm really focused here on getting a job. So you got to be careful. If you're not happy with where you are right now as far as a job, there's going to be people like this man yesterday that are going to try to guide you, at a job you don't want. I've had people do this to me on this journey, tell me, hey, go work at a gas station. Hey, Starlight, go work at Walmart. You go work at Walmart, I'm where I belong with God, what God wants me to do. This is where God wants me to be. I don't care what people think. I don't answer to people. I'm not a people pleaser. I'm here doing what God wants me to do. Only God knows what I am doing behind the scenes, except for somebody that's really super close to me that is there supporting my ass. So you got to be careful, because you're going to have people, when you're not happy at your job, you could be making tons of money, but you could be miserable. You're going to have family, you're going to have friends, you're going to have even your husband or wife. They're like, hey, you make great money, but you're miserable. You're miserable. Are they working? I heard this long time ago. There was somebody that went to go get a job, and it was hard work, lifting up heavy weight at a Walmart distribution place. And, the person that was telling this person what to do, they weren't even out working. They were staying home every day, drinking wine. And it's like, but this person that's not doing anything was telling this person that was out there to go get a job, because there's people that will use other people. They want your money, and they want you to go out to work because they want your money. And they don't care where you work. They just want your money. They want to use you. And so, the person did not want to work. It was just too much. He wasn't happy. But, and I told this person before he even went, it was the convenience, it's close by, it's right down the street. I can get this job. I can get this much money. But, it wasn't long. You had to go through training to, even get that job. But it wasn't long after the training, when he started working, he realized this is too much, and you got to listen to yourself. There's going to be people that are like the guy from the library. They're going to tell you to go get something that you know what? I don't want to go work at a bar. I don't want to, do that kind of job, You know better than anyone else what you would be happy doing. And a lot of people are going to tell you, hey, you're going to make lots of money. Don't do it because you're going to make do it because it's something that you see yourself doing and that you would be happy doing it. I am doing what I love right here, and God rewards me and pays me by helping me through this whole process. I get rewarded for the work that I am doing here. So, sorry, there's a lot of little tiny bugs that land on me here. So, and not only the job, how about where you live? You don't like where you live. Well, guess what? That's something that you got to work on. Sometimes we got to do all kinds of things to make changes, do things that are uncomfortable. Maybe you're working at, sometimes we're at the wrong place for a job. We're at the wrong location. If you're at the wrong location, you don't like where you live, you might want to think about getting another job somewhere else in a location that you love. You don't want to live somewhere where you're miserable. And I've been there too many times in the past, living in a town that I didn't like. Also the landlord that wasn't taking good care of the place, the apartment, how it was run down, holes in the wall, things falling apart, the landlord not doing the job, what is it? So there people out there that these are tests. You want to live in a broken down place, live in a city, where there's going to be people passing your place, wanting to come into your place. So, like if you're in a city, I'm sorry, I got like these little bugs out here today, so if you're living in a city and you don't like where you are, is that you got to find where you will be happy living, even the tenants and you might live in an apartment building somewhere and all this stuff, partying, noise and all that, that's not really where you belong. like is people keeping you up at night? Also, the other thing is the people in your life, Are the people in your life making you feel like sunshine, or are they stealing your energy? And you got to protect your ass. You got to protect your energy. And you could be in a relationship that you're miserable in, but everybody wants you in that relationship. They're like, you've been with that person all these years. You got children. You got to stay with her or him. No, you don't. If but anytime with anything, always try to make it work. But if you've already done that many times and it's not working out, you know what? I'm not going to tell you what to do. You got to figure it out. You might have to think about letting go of that person, because if you're the one that's doing all the work and you're not happy, with the relationship that you're in, you got to figure this out. You can either complain about it by staying in that relationship, just like the job or the place, Are you always complaining about the job? Like wanting people to feel bad for you and want people to hear your sad story. I'll tell you what, aren't you getting tired of talking to people? And, what are they telling you? Are they guiding you? Or are they, hey, but you make good money? Because there's people that we could go to and try to get help from, but they could be the very ones that are keeping you stuck. And we got to be our own boss. Stop listening to people if they're trying to, put you in a place. They're not there in your spot. Like this long time ago, somebody wanted this person to work at this place. They didn't want to work there. They didn't care how much money they were making because they were miserable. It was just too hard labor for them. It was too much. Carrying these boxes every day. Their body wasn't used to it. They were stressed out. But this other person over here, hey, I want you to work in there because when you work, I can get your money, is that you got to watch out for people. They might want you to go in and work somewhere, because then you're doing something, and but you're miserable. And don't make these people happy by listening to them. You got to make yourself happy by listening to yourself and say, no, you know what? It's causing me a lot of stress. If you're complaining about the person that you're with, the job where you are working, or the location that you're at, you can do something about it. Instead of, this is what a lot of people do, is they go around and they want people to feel, I've been there. They want people to feel bad for them. They want to, express themselves by telling, what they're going through. But what kind of information are these people telling you? Are they telling you the kind of information that's going to help you? That's great. But if they're the information that's really, they don't care about your peace and happiness, and they just want you to go in there and go, they're like, hey, because they could be afraid, and maybe that's what they would do, is just take the money and not be happy. But they're not in the same place that you are, So don't listen to those people that want you to be where you are, where you're not happy. You've got to listen to yourself. Can you see yourself there for the next 10 years? Can you see yourself living there the next 10 years? Can you see yourself working at that job for the next 10 years? Can you see yourself in that relationship for the next 10 years? I do have, I have a job. Somebody could start an own business. I thought of this a couple weeks ago, is you could start your own business is the best way to do anything. If you're really good, I got a job right now, an offer for you, like a job that you could take this. I don't even know if there's anybody out there doing this. This might be, you could, what you want to do is do something nobody else is doing, and you can make a lot of money. You can start your own business. And if you're really good at computers, I got a job for you. And what it is that there's a lot of people in all different areas. They need help. You know what they need help in? They need help to learn how to use a computer, how to use their cell phones. You can help people by starting your own business, by helping people that don't know how to use the technology. You can set up your own. I thought of this a couple weeks ago, but that means that you got to have good, communication skills with people, and start your own business. I'm throwing this out there just in case somebody's like, hey, that's a great plan. Of course, you got to have a car to do that, because you got to go to their house, to meet with them, to be able to, teach them how to use a computer, how to use their phone. There's people that desperately needs help. They go to the library. You know what? they're frustrated. I see it all the time. People go to the library and they don't know how to use the computers. They don't know how to use the phone. They're stressed out. You can start your own business by doing something like that. That's just a suggestion. I just thought of this a couple weeks ago because I see it, I hear it all the time. The library people, you know, they only can do so much. You can make money doing that. People, I believe definitely people will pay you because they want to learn how to do these things. And so anyway, that's just a thought out there. There's a lot of things. Think outside the box. Think of something that nobody's doing. I don't know if anybody is doing that. So anyway, I love you so much. This is Starlight. Namaste. This is Starlight. Love, light, and peace. Thank you for watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Plus, give me a thumbs up. And you can leave me a message down below. Beep, beep, beep. Plus, you could share my videos with your family or friends, and don't forget the notification bell, and check out my playlist. And you can also find me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman Starlight. Thank you for watching. This is Starlight. Namaste. This is Starlight. Love, light, and peace.